Jami Ray from Jami Ray Vintage. Today's DIY is all about batten board. Zeb's going to show you how he did this technique on our wall.
Zeb with Jami Ray Vintage here. Today we're going to be putting some batten board on our dining room wall, and I'm going to show you real quick how to measure, because we're going to leave this top part. You can see where I've done some repairs where we had some pictures hanging. We're going to repaint that, and then underneath is going to be painted white, because I'm not going to actually put a backer board on this. We're just going to trim it out, and I'll show you how to do that. Real quick, I'm just going to measure. I want my batten board, the top of the board, to be at 55 inches. My tape measure is 3 inches long, so I'm just going to do this at 52. This is a real easy way to get a quick straight tape line across your wall. So I've just got it resting on the floor here, and I'm just marking off every couple feet so that I can come through with the tape. We got the top all covered with that new paint. I'm not so concerned about covering up in between where my tape line is, because that's where the batten board's going to run, right across through there. So I'm going to paint this white down below, and then we'll put the board on and trim this out. So I'm working on the baseboards now. I don't want them to have the same nap on there that the wall does. That roller that I'm using is pretty thick and holds a lot of paint. So I'm going to use a brush to just kind of clean these up and cut this edge right here. And that way the finish on my baseboard stays looking really nice and smooth. The walls are painted and dried. I'm just going to put this up here and line it up where my other marks were. So I'm just going to use my air gun. It's got staples in it. I will have to come back through and putty that. For now, I'm just going to use it to hold this up. I'm just going to use it to hold that up for a minute while I make sure that this is level. Alright, got it tacked up, got my studs measured out. I'm going to countersink them here so that we can get a good strong hold, because I'm going to build a little bit of molding up top for some decoration on that. Okay, so I'm set up here with a 2-inch screw. I want to make sure to go through this, through the drywall, and into my wood so that I get a nice bite. And that pulled that down really nice. I've got the end piece for this length here on this little mini pantry we've got in our kitchen, and I've cut a 45 right here on this edge so that it kind of matches up with that rolled corner a little better. I'm just going to secure it down with the screws here, and then we'll start doing our vertical slats. When I cut my slat that goes down, I'm going to leave it square up top, and I'm going to router the bottom to kind of match up with this a little bit better, and we'll see how that looks. So I'm measuring from the bottom of my trim up here to the top of this molding. I didn't want to replace the molding because we've got this really nice molding throughout the whole house and it all matches, so I'm leaving it alone. So I've got 4 feet, ½ an inch right there. Got my boards measured at 48½ inches here. I'm just going to trim these down. And then we'll bring it over here. This is my router table that I made for myself. It's just an old podium. I cut a hole out and then attached the router to the bottom of it. And then I use my power strip as a on-off toggle switch for it. So I'm just going to router the bottom of one of these slats here for you so you can see it real fast. And that's also how I did the trim on the top of the batten board. So I'll show you how to do this real fast. I've unplugged it. I always unplug it anytime I'm going to put my hands close to the blade here. But you don't need a guide on this particular bit because it's got this bearing on the top that will spin along your wood or whatever piece you're cutting, and that way it won't go too deep. Some bits you do need a guide. On this piece that I have here, I just clamp on a piece of wood to the depth I want. But pretty simple option to make yourself a little router table. You could do this on any freestanding table or whatever you've built. The end piece of trim is going on. You can see I've cut it at a 45 to match the top, and I've got it stapled in just to hold it. So right now what I'm doing, we're going to trim the top of this out, and I'm going to router this bottom lip here. I've got a 45 cut at this end and a 45 cut right here, so that just keeps continuously flowing with that nice edge, and we'll probably round this some. And then I'm going to build another piece up on top of here because we couldn't find a piece that quite suited what we liked, so I'm going to build it. And I decided to do it out of two pieces. Now you can see here, I've got a little bit of a gap right there. I'm going to have to caulk that because this wood is a lot more rigid than this fiberboard is here. So it's not going to bend like I want it to. Alright, so I routed the bottom edge of this here, and this is going to be my shelf. I'm just going to go ahead and staple this on. That's nice and secure, it's not going anywhere. And I've got my 45 in the corner. Some people were probably watching at the beginning of the video and being like, hey, why didn't you 45 that? This is going to be pretty hidden, and I wasn't super worried about that, but I will 45 this because you'll be able to see that on the top. Alright, so the other piece is finished. Just wanted to show you close up how that fits in together right there. That way the seam just looks continuous. A little bit of sanding and those will fit in nice and flush, and you won't even notice it's two separate pieces. So I've routed this small little piece here to go on the bottom. This actually slides up right there, and I'll staple it in. I'm also going to wood glue it since it's wood on wood, and that'll just help strengthen that and solidify that piece over time. That way it doesn't start coming apart if there's any warping from heat or the wood drying out. Let me see if I can get a closer look here for you so you can kind of see what I've been doing. Get a little more detail on it. But this here, I'm going to just have to sand just a little bit, and then that will be nice and smooth as well. And this edge right here, once that's painted, it'll all look like it was always one piece. I have this gap in the corner right here where the wall meets the pantry, and I'm gonna fill that. I've just got some white caulk that I'm gonna put in, and I could have probably cut these so that they were flush so they didn't have this rounded edge to create that gap. But the wall is not really straight right here where the two meet, and it was pretty ununiform, so I was going to have to caulk it anyway. Now I've got my bead on there. I've got this wet piece of foam, it's pretty dense foam, and I'm just going to run that down, and that'll make a nice corner for me. That's done. Now we're almost ready for paint. So I ran out of boards the other night. I had to go get some more this morning. You can see I've already got the trim up here. My wall is 10 feet long and well and half an inch, but I measured 10 by 6 because I'm end capping these here. And so I just did the math so that I could get even intervals between my slats on this. And you'll have to measure however your board is and then just do some simple division to figure out how far apart the spacing is. I'm gonna go ahead and get these on, and then we'll be down to the finish work, filling holes and sanding and getting the rest of it painted. Alright, we're all sanded up and on to painting. I broke out the foam brush because I want it to have a nice smooth finish, as close to that factory finish as I can get. I'm just going to paint this one here real quick so you can see what it's going to look like, and then I'll show you the finished product. I don't want to bore you watching me paint this whole thing for 2 hours or however long it takes me.
Alright guys, our batten board is all done. I love the way that my new navy blue chairs look against the white wall. We decided to do batten board in our dining room so that way it would define our dining space, because we have one big open space and it was hard to tell where the living room stopped and the dining room started. I hope that this gives you the courage to tackle your own batten board DIY. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more DIY.